Hi everyone, I'm standing here right next to the new cycle track that Will Hansfield and the Georgetown Business Improvement District have put in. This is underneath the Whitehurst Freeway on Water Street, going from about 34th at the Capitol Crescent Trail entrance down to about 28. So not a huge distance, but it's really great to have all these parked cars moved out of the way, making things a lot safer. You can see a lot of folks coming through here that normally would be dealing with mixed traffic and those sorts of things. So I'm really a big fan of this. I think it looks great. There's some new protective planters that have been put in that I hadn't seen when I was here a couple days ago. But overall, this is a really nice cycle track, really nice design. Hope we can see it stay. But I wanted to come and get a little image of it because we're about to do some analytical work to take a look at just who this serves. Before we do that, though, let's take a quick look at what this used to look like. Here's some old footage where you can see buses U-turning, cars doing strange things, making right and lefts. You've got bicyclists coming, working their way around them from both directions. It's kind of a mess, and if you notice when the camera pans around, there's the really nice waterfront park there, but you see the sign that says walk your bikes, just like the Georgetown Harbor says a little further up. So here's a little map that we've put together that takes a look at Ward 2 residents' access to the two main trails, the Capitol Crescent and the Rock Creek Treads. And looking at this, we've tried to apply some stress factors that are known from previous research and from surveys of bicyclists. It's fairly common to do low-stress bike routing assessments these days. And the reality is, Water Street was a relatively high-stress street. It's multiple lanes, multiple parking configurations, multiple intersections, 30-mile-an-hour speeds, lots of turns going on. And in an objective sort of metric where you would apply this to GIS segments, it was a relatively high-stress segment. So if we were to say what residents of Georgetown and Ward 2 can safely make it to the Capitol Crescent trailhead without having to go on a uncomfortably high-stress route, essentially the answer is 0, because the only way to get there was to come down the hill in Georgetown and to get onto Water Street. Now, we know that a lot of folks actually do bike there, but that's more a reflection of the fact that the CCT is a really important place for people to get by bike than the fact that it's super accessible by low-stress routes. So now we can take a look at this and we can see what turning that Water Street free-for-all into a two-way protected cycle track, the way DDOT and the Georgetown BID have done, changes things. So I'm just going to move this slider, and you should be able to see the difference between who was able to get there before and who's able to get there now. You can see it goes from being essentially no one able to get there by a low-stress route to quite a few residences. And I'll note that we've done a few things to limit the data pull. We've limited this to folks within Ward 2, just so we didn't have to clip the entire city's worth of data. And we've limited this to residences. So you can see there's a lot of gaps in there, especially along the street, along Constant Avenue, where those are actually businesses that are getting more customers because folks can get to them from the trail on a low-stress route. But we haven't included that in the analysis. We also, importantly for the numbers here, have residentially zoned parcels that does not include the residences associated with George Washington University or Georgetown University, which if we were applying multiplier here, so you could actually talk about the number of human beings that were able to get to the trail, not just the number of residential parcels, that would be a huge number of people that would be able to access the Capitol Crescent Trail more safely because this is there. So what we're looking at here is about 2,000 parcels that are served and are given better low-stress access to the Capitol Crescent Trail because this bike lane is there. Now, a few data caveats that I want to make sure we're clear about so it doesn't seem like we're misleading anyone. We extracted the network for this analysis from OpenStreetMaps, and we removed the connections to Water Street and the Capitol Crescent that were not particularly bike accessible, because there are some places that there are stairways and walkways where conceivably you could pick up your bike and carry it down the steps, but that's not something that we count as a low stress accessible biking condition. The other thing that I should mention is that we did model the cycle track as going fully from the Rock Creek Trail to the Capitol Crescent Trail. There's a little bit of construction right now that is preventing that completion, but I think everyone's aware that the goal is to connect those two, and that's why, in large part, the Rails to Trails Conservancy is really interested in the project and doing this analysis is because we see two major urban trail networks that serve an awful lot of people that have this one gap, and it's a high stress gap that we're really pleased to see the bid and DDOT looking to fill. I think what we're really trying to convey here is that this very, very small gap has an outsized importance to the functioning of the overall network. And in places that we see large networks of trails disconnected that could be connected through on-road infrastructure or trail projects, that's really a huge opportunity to get a lot of bang for your buck in improving infrastructure. So I hope this has been interesting. I can find some other places in the region that we can look at the effect of connecting trail networks through on-road or off-road safe infrastructure. This was done using RTC's bikeable load stress analysis tool. So if you have places that you'd be interested in seeing what changes in infrastructure do for low stress origin destination bike connectivity, I'd be happy to talk more about that with anybody who wants to do it. I'm happy to be looking at some things right here in our backyard in DC again. So with that, thanks very much.